Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Learn English Daily. I'm Alex. I'm really happy you're here today. Before we start, I want to ask you a simple question. What did you do this morning? It sounds like an easy question. After all, it was your morning. You lived it. You remember it. But if someone asked you that question in English, would you feel confident answering? For many English learners, this is where things become difficult. Not because they don't know English, and not because they don't know what happened. It's because they don't know how to put their thoughts into simple English. Today, we're going to change that. Not by learning difficult grammar, not by memorizing a long list of vocabulary, and not by trying to sound like a native speaker. We're going to do something much more useful. We're going to talk about real life. Your life, because real conversations don't begin with difficult topics. They begin with ordinary moments. Your morning, your breakfast, your work, your family, your evening. These are the conversations people have every single day. And the better you become at talking about your own life, the easier every conversation becomes. So today, I'd like you to do something different. Don't think of this as an English lesson. Think of it as a conversation between friends. There's no pressure. There's no test. There's no score. Just listen. Smile when something sounds familiar. Repeat when you feel comfortable. And enjoy spending a little time with English, because learning a language doesn't always have to feel like studying. Sometimes, the best learning happens when you're simply listening. Now, let's imagine something together. It's early in the morning. Your room is quiet. Outside, the world is slowly waking up. Then your alarm starts ringing. For a few seconds, you don't even know what day it is. You close your eyes again. Maybe just one more minute. We've all done that. Finally, you open your eyes. You look at the clock. You take a deep breath. A new day has begun. This is where every day starts. So let's learn how to talk about this moment in English. Listen first. Then repeat naturally if you'd like. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I usually wake up early. Sometimes I wake up late. I turn off my alarm. I get out of bed. I'm still a little sleepy. I don't want to leave my bed. I stretch my arms. I open the window. The weather looks nice today. Very good. Did you notice something? Every sentence was short. Every sentence was useful. And every sentence is something that millions of English speakers say every day. This is the kind of English you should learn first. Simple English. Natural English. Useful English. Now, let me tell you about my morning. I don't think my morning is very exciting. In fact, it's probably a lot like yours. Most mornings, my alarm rings at 7 o'clock. Sometimes I wake up before it rings. Other times I hear the alarm and immediately think, just 5 more minutes. Of course, 5 minutes usually becomes 10. Eventually, I smile, turn off the alarm, and sit up in bed. I open the curtains and look outside. If the sun is shining, I feel full of energy. If it's raining, I usually want another cup of coffee before I do anything else. The first thing I always do is make my bed. It's a small habit. It only takes a minute. But somehow, it makes me feel like the day has already started well. After that, I walk to the bathroom. I brush my teeth. I wash my face with cold water. And suddenly, I don't feel sleepy anymore. It's funny how something so simple can wake you up so quickly. Now, I'd like to ask you something. What about you? What time do you usually wake up? Don't answer in your own language. Try to answer in English. Take your time, even if your answer is very short. I wake up at 6. I wake up at 8. I usually wake up early. That's enough. Remember, Confidence grows one sentence at a time, not 100 sentences at a time. Just one, then another, then another. Let's continue. After I leave the bathroom, I usually go to the kitchen. I love quiet mornings. The house is peaceful. Everything feels calm. I put the kettle on. Sometimes I make coffee. Sometimes I make tea. It depends on how I feel. While I'm waiting, I look out of the window. I enjoy those few quiet minutes before the day becomes busy. Breakfast is usually simple, nothing special. Maybe some eggs, maybe toast, sometimes fruit. And yes, sometimes I eat something sweet. Not every day, but once in a while I'm eating breakfast, I don't like to rush. I think mornings should feel calm. When you begin your day calmly, the rest of the day often feels better too. Now let me ask you another question. What do you usually have for breakfast? Think about today's breakfast. Can you describe it? Maybe you can say, I had eggs. I had cereal. I had coffee. I didn't eat breakfast. All of these answers are perfect. The important thing isn't using difficult words. The important thing is using English. Now, let's practice together again. Listen first, then repeat. I make breakfast. I drink coffee every morning. I usually have tea. I eat breakfast with my family. I eat breakfast alone. Breakfast gives me energy. I enjoy quiet mornings. Excellent. You're doing a great job. And here's something I'd like you to remember. You don't become fluent by learning hundreds of new words every day. You become fluent by using the same useful words again and again until they become part of you. Think about children. They don't learn thousands of different words in 1 week. They hear the same words every day. Good morning. Come here. Thank you. Let's eat. Time to sleep. Again and again and again. That's why they remember them. Your brain works exactly the same way. Repetition isn't boring. Repetition is how language becomes natural. So don't worry if you hear the same expressions more than once in today's episode. That's not an accident. That's how real learning happens. After breakfast, it's time to get ready. I go back to my room. I put on my shoes. I pick up my keys. I check my phone, wallet. Yes. Keys. Yes. Phone. Yes. Good. I'm ready. It's funny. Almost everyone does the same thing before leaving home. We always check if we forgot something. Have you ever walked outside and then suddenly thought, oh no, I forgot my phone? I think we've all done that. Now, it's your turn. Before you leave your house, what do you always check? Think about it. Can you answer in English? Maybe you say, I checked my phone. I checked my bag. I checked my wallet. Very good. Those are exactly the kinds of sentences people use every day. Now listen carefully. I lock the door. I leave the house. I walk to my car. I wait for the bus. I ride my bicycle. I go to work. I go to school. Simple, natural, useful. Let me tell you something. I actually enjoy the first few minutes after leaving home. The air feels fresh. The streets slowly become busy. People are walking. Cars are moving. Coffee shops are opening. Everyone is starting a new day. Sometimes I stop for a coffee. The woman at the coffee shop smiles and says, Good morning. I smile back. Good morning. How are you today? I'm doing well. Thank you. And you? I'm great. That's it. A very short conversation, less than 20 seconds. But this is real English, not long speeches, not difficult vocabulary, just friendly conversation. Sometimes learners think they need advanced English to speak well. They don't. They need comfortable English. English that feels natural. Let's practice together. Imagine you're buying a coffee. I'll be the barista. You answer me. Ready? Good morning. How are you today? What would you like? Small or large? Here you are. Have a nice day. Excellent. Now imagine having little conversations like this every day. That's how confidence grows. Not from one big conversation, but from hundreds of small ones. A few minutes later, the day really begins. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're at school. Maybe you're studying at home. Whatever your day looks like, there's always something to do. I usually start by checking my schedule. I like knowing what I need to do. When I have a plan, I feel more relaxed. Some days are busy, very busy. Other days are quiet. And honestly, I like both. Busy days make time fly. Quiet days give me time to think. What about you? Is your day usually busy, or is it usually quiet? Take a moment. Answer in English. Even one sentence is enough. Now let's learn a few useful expressions. I start work at 9. I finish work at 5. I have a meeting. I answer emails. I study English. I take notes. I ask questions. I learn something new every day. Excellent. Now let me tell you a small story. A few years ago, I used to think I had to know everything before speaking English, so I waited. I studied. I learned grammar. I memorized vocabulary, and I kept waiting. Then, one day, I realized something. People don't wait until they're perfect to start talking. Children don't. Travelers don't. Friends don't. They simply speak. Sometimes they make mistakes. Sometimes they stop to think. Sometimes they laugh because they said something wrong. And then they continue. That day changed the way I looked at learning languages. Since then, I've made hundreds of mistakes. Maybe thousands. But every mistake helped me become a better speaker. So if you're afraid of making mistakes, I want you to remember something. Mistakes are proof that you're trying, and every person who speaks English fluently today was once a beginner, just like you. Let's stop for a quick challenge. I want you to describe your morning. Not my morning. Your morning. Use simple English. Start with, I wake up. Then continue. I brush my teeth. I make coffee. I go to work. Keep talking until you can't think of another sentence. Don't worry if it's only 4 or 5 sentences. Next week, it might be 6. The week after that, maybe 10. That's how progress happens. Little by little, day by day, one conversation at a time. Before you know it, the morning is over. You look at the clock. It's already lunchtime. Have you ever had one of those mornings that passed so quickly? You start working. You answer a few emails. You finish one task. Then another. You look up for a second, and suddenly, it's noon. I always find that a little surprising. Some days feel long. Others disappear before you even notice. Around lunchtime, I like to take a short break. Nothing special. Sometimes I go for a short walk. Sometimes I sit outside for a few minutes. Sometimes I simply make another cup of coffee and enjoy the quiet. Those small breaks make a big difference. They help me slow down. They help me breathe. And when I go back to work, I feel ready again. What about you? What do you usually do during your lunch break? Do you eat with your family? With your friends? With your coworkers? Or do you enjoy eating alone? There isn't a right answer. Everyone has a different routine, and that's what makes conversations interesting. Now let's practice a few useful sentences. I have lunch at noon. I eat with my coworkers. I bring my lunch from home. I usually eat at a restaurant. I take a short break. I go for a walk after lunch. Very nice. Now let's put these sentences into a real conversation. Are you hungry? Yes, I am. What are you having for lunch? I'm having chicken and rice. That sounds good. What about you? I'm having a sandwich. Enjoy your lunch. You too. That's it. A simple conversation. Nothing difficult, but very useful. Imagine having conversations like this every day. Little by little, English starts to feel normal. After lunch, I usually have more energy. I go back to work. I finish the things I started in the morning. Sometimes everything goes according to plan. Sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay. Life isn't perfect. Some days are productive. Some days are slow. The important thing is to keep moving forward. Learning English is exactly the same. Maybe yesterday you learned 10 new words. Today you only learned one. That's still progress. One new sentence today is better than no sentence at all. Never underestimate small progress. Small progress changes your life. Let me ask you something. Imagine you meet an English-speaking friend this evening. They ask, "How was your day?" What would you say? Maybe, "It was busy." "It was great." "It was a little stressful." "It was a good day." Those are all perfect answers. Notice something. None of them are difficult. Real English is often very simple. Finally, the workday is over. You close your computer. You put away your books. You stand up. You stretch. And you think, it's time to go home. I always enjoy that feeling, especially after a busy day. The journey home feels different from the journey in the morning. People look more relaxed. Some are smiling. Some are talking on the phone. Others are listening to music. Everyone is thinking about home. When I arrive home, I take off my shoes. I put my keys on the table. I take a deep breath. Home feels comfortable. Home feels peaceful. Home feels familiar. I think everyone needs a place where they can relax. Where is your favorite place to relax? Is it your bedroom? Your living room? A park? A coffee shop? Think about your answer. Try saying it in English. Evenings are my favorite part of the day. Everything becomes quieter. There are no alarms, no rush, no hurry. Sometimes I cook dinner. Sometimes I order food. Sometimes I try a new recipe. And sometimes I make something very simple because I'm too tired to cook. After dinner, I usually spend some quiet time. I might read a book, watch a movie, listen to music, or call a friend. And yes, some evenings I practice another language because even teachers never stop learning. Learning is a lifelong journey. The more you learn, the more you realize there's always something new to discover. Now, I'd like you to think about your evening. Can you describe it? Start with, in the evening, then continue. Maybe you say, in the evening, I watch TV. In the evening, I cook dinner. In the evening, I play with my children. In the evening, I study English. Excellent. You're creating your own English. That's much more valuable than memorizing mine. The day is almost over. I brush my teeth. I check that everything is ready for tomorrow. I set my alarm. Then I lie down in bed. Sometimes I think about everything I did that day. The good moments. The difficult moments. The funny moments. Every day teaches us something, even an ordinary day. Before I fall asleep, I often ask myself one simple question. What did I learn today? Sometimes the answer is big. Sometimes it's very small. But there's always an answer. Today, I hope one of your answers is this. Today, I practiced my English. Maybe you learned 5 new words. Maybe you learned 1 useful sentence. Maybe you simply listened for 30 minutes. That is something to be proud of, because every time you choose English, you're investing in yourself, and that's one of the best investments you can make. Final practice. Before we finish, let's review today's journey together. Repeat after me naturally. I wake up early. I make my bed. I brush my teeth. I have breakfast. I leave the house. I go to work. I have lunch. I finish my work. I go home. I have dinner. I relax in the evening. I go to bed. Beautiful. Now you can describe an entire day in English, and this is only the beginning. Imagine how much you'll be able to say after 10 episodes, or 20, or 50. That's why I always say, don't focus on speaking perfect English. Focus on speaking English regularly. Consistency is much more powerful than perfection. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this conversation made English feel a little easier and a little more natural. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Learn English Daily. We'll build your vocabulary, improve your listening, strengthen your speaking, and most importantly, we'll build your confidence, one conversation at a time. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Write 1 simple sentence in English in the comments. Tell me about your daily routine. Even 1 sentence is enough. Remember, every comment is another chance to practice. I'm Alex. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself. Keep practicing. Keep speaking. And I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, my friend.